GPT Image 2 just released and it's better than Nano Banana 2, especially when it comes to text, and this makes it great for creating YouTube thumbnails. But a simple prompt is not enough and will only give you mediocre results like these ones. That's why I summarized all best practices I found in books and videos made by experts, and I turned them into a workflow that creates viral and optimized YouTube thumbnails on autopilot. You only have to paste your video transcript and then you add any optional assets or logos or preferences, and the AI generates 3 viral YouTube thumbnails following the best practices. And you can train the AI on your face to use in the thumbnail. The examples you can see on the screen were all made by AI with 0 manual editing. If you are still manually creating thumbnails or even prompting in AI, you're wasting a ton of time and potential, because your thumbnails don't follow best practices, whereas my thumbnails always look like they were made by a pro. It's easy, it's cheap, and it only takes a few minutes. And what's more, you can just copy my workflow. You don't have to create this yourself. I will give you everything you need in this video. My name is Florian Walter and this is the AI Tool Corner, where I review the latest AI software to find out which ones can actually improve our lives and businesses. So let's jump right into the workflow. Here at the beginning I have my thumbnail best practices. This is a document, a text file that includes all the best practices I found in tons of different books and videos I read about YouTube. I use AI to summarize them, and this is very elaborate and contains everything you need to know about thumbnail generation. We don't have to touch this document at all. This is why I keep it locked. I don't want to make any changes in here. And then we have different inputs. This is the only thing you need to provide. But really the only piece you need to provide is the video transcript. For this you can use one of these YouTube transcript extractors. I will put a link to a free one into the video description below. And here you paste your video link, click on extract transcript, and then you copy the whole transcript and put it into this node. Replace all of this text in here, and this is enough to generate the thumbnails. But you can provide additional nodes which will be taken into account by the AI. For example, I told it to use the attached screenshot down here, which is also optional, but I wanted to have this screenshot or at least parts of it in the thumbnail, so I put it into this assets folder. You can put as many images in here as you want, and the AI is trained on my face. This is not just a single image, this is actually a whole character that includes multiple different images, so that the AI knows exactly how I look. I will later show you how to train the AI on your face, so stick around. So those inputs here in these blue boxes are the only things you have to provide. Everything else happens automatically. The video transcript, the person in the thumbnail, and any optional nodes and assets. And then we have this thumbnail concept generator. This is an AI assistant that uses Claude Opus 4.7. You can use any of these other models, GPT, Gemini, and so on. They are all included here. I prefer Opus. You can add these nodes like the assistant or image generators here with this button, and then we have different nodes available. But you don't have to understand this for now if you just clone my existing workflow. The thumbnail concept generator has a system prompt here in the settings, a pretty big one. I'm not gonna read all of this, but I basically told it to create 3 different viral thumbnail concepts based on the provided video transcript, the thumbnail guidelines, and any additional nodes I added. And this assistant then has different inputs. When we click on it, we can see that there are different lines going inside here. Those inputs are, of course, the best practices because the AI needs them to come up with the concept. And then the video transcript, the additional nodes, and this whole assets folder. All of them go into this concept generator so that the AI can take them into account. Then it creates 3 completely different thumbnail concepts and it exports them in this list here. So those are the results, the concepts that the AI generated. Then we have another AI assistant that takes these concepts and it turns them into prompts for the AI image generator. Again, this uses Claude Opus. It has a system prompt. You are an AI image prompt generator. Turn the concept into an AI image prompt and take all these different assets and infos into account. This then again exports 3 different image generation prompts, which look like this. They are very detailed. They also reference the attached person, which is Florian, and any assets that we provided. And then we have the first image generator, which takes these 3 image prompts and it generates images using GPT Image 2. But we can also select any other image model. They are all included here, like Nano Banana and one of these other ones, but GPT-2 is the best currently. The aspect ratio is set to 16:9 for a YouTube thumbnail and the quality is set to high. But those are not the final results yet, so stick around. But first let's take a look at the inputs of this thumbnail generator. Of course we need the image prompts, which go right in here, but we also attached some reference images. Let's take a look at those. They are of course my person, because I want to use that in the thumbnails, and then this whole assets folder. They both go right into this image generator, so they are used in here. As you can see, it used these elements and my person. We have some more steps behind because they are not great yet, but let's take a look at these first. So they are very high resolution, very big, which is great. The text fidelity is amazing because this is the strength of GPT Image 2. Even these tiny texts here are perfectly readable, and the character consistency is also good. This looks pretty much exactly like me. But I noticed that the first iteration is often not that good because this thumbnail is too busy, these texts are too small, they are not quite ready yet. This one is actually pretty good, but it doesn't really say web scraping, does it? It looks like a video about a cheap graphics card. That's why I added another AI assistant, which I called the Thumbnail Optimization Generator. Let's take a look at the system prompt. You are a thumbnail optimizer AI. I told it to rate the provided thumbnail on a scale of 1 to 10 and then come up with the necessary changes to make it a 10 out of 10 thumbnail. The inputs of this generator are of course the generated thumbnails, so it can analyze them, but also the best practices, the original concept and everything else that it needs. And then it creates outputs like these. It rates the thumbnail 7.5, it lists the strengths and weaknesses, and then it comes up with improvements to make it a perfect thumbnail. Then again I have another image prompt generator, which takes these improvements, it takes the original thumbnails, and it comes up with the prompt we need for another image generator that edits our first thumbnail. This second thumbnail generator is again an image generator that uses GPT-2. It's pretty much the same as the first one, just that this one takes our original thumbnails, the first ones here, as input. So it edits them instead of generating completely new ones from scratch. And those are the improved versions. As you can see, they are much better. They are less busy and better communicate the idea. If you still don't like them, you can just run the workflow again and you will get completely new thumbnails. Sometimes I run this 2 or 3 times until I'm completely satisfied. And you can also update the input nodes here to add any preferences or things you want to have in the thumbnail. So you want to experiment with this a bit. But sometimes these thumbnails don't have the perfect resolution. So I added 2 more steps. I have this thumbnail cropper, which simply takes this thumbnail and it turns it into perfect 16:9 aspect ratio. It puts these cropped thumbnails into this new list. And then we have an upscaler, which uses another AI to increase the resolution of these thumbnails. And then at the end, in the results group here, we have these upscaled, high quality 16:9 YouTube thumbnails. And you can even A/B test different thumbnails and see which one performs the best. Now one more cool thing you can do is, let's say you like these thumbnails but they are not quite perfect. You can double click them, click here on edit, and then you can use a prompt to change specific things. For example, change the price to $12.99. We can select an image model. Again, I want to use GPT-2, but it looks like we can't yet select it here. For image editing, let's select Nano Banana 2 instead, which should be good enough. Then we can edit this. So this is the updated version. This is the original. This is the update. Looks perfect. And now when we save this then automatically runs the cropper and the upscaler again, and you get your final image here in this results box with perfect resolution. But there's one more thing I added, because with good thumbnails you also need good titles, of course. So I have another document here, title best practices, which I extracted from different videos and books. Then we have another AI assistant. This should be Claude Opus 4.7, which comes up with the perfect titles for this video based on these best practices. And then everything here is put into this results group. We have our thumbnails, and for each of these thumbnails we have one output with different title ideas. So this summarizes what it can see in the thumbnail. It also summarizes the video content and then comes up with 10 different titles that would fit this thumbnail. So this first result here is for this thumbnail, the second result for the second one, and so on. For this, of course, the title generator takes the thumbnails as input. As you can see, we have this line going here into this title generator, and then also the best practices. And it also takes the video transcript and our preferences. So everything is here in this results box. When you run this workflow again, it will create 3 new thumbnails together with their titles, and it will replace everything that's here in this box. But you can always find your old generations in the history. So you will never lose any of these thumbnail images, they are always in here. I will put a link to this whole workflow into the video description below. You can just clone it, you don't need to build this yourself, you can use my best practices, and all you have to do is provide these inputs here. The video transcript, your preferences, and your face, if you want to have it in the thumbnail. I'm going to show you how to train the AI on your face in a moment, and after you've inserted all of this, you go to this concept generator node, you click on it, and here you can select either run this node only or run from here. You want to use run from here because this will take this input and run the whole workflow and all the steps afterwards, and then you find the results here at the end in this purple box, and you can ignore all the steps in between unless you manually want to edit these thumbnails as I showed you earlier. Now for these image generators, you can also provide a style if you want to train the AI on a certain thumbnail style. I've never used this, I'm happy with the default outputs, but you can try this out if you want. Okay, training the AI on your own face is very easy. You click here on character, new character, you give this a name, for example your name is Ferdinand, you select your gender, and then you just upload at least 4 images of your face, ideally from different angles and in good lighting. Then click on create your character, and this trains the AI on your face, and then you can use it in the thumbnails. Alternatively, you can use an AI person, but of course it's better if you use yourself. Again, I will put a link to this workflow into the video description below. You can just clone it and start creating professional YouTube optimized thumbnails on Autopilot. And if you want to learn how to build cool workflows like this yourself and see more different use cases of what you can do with them, check out my Magnific Spaces tutorial here in the end card next. By the way, I also use Nano Banana 2 there if you want to see the difference to GPT 2. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and then I wish you a nice rest of the day. Take care.